Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library, and today we're going to learn how to paint the Goldfish by Henri Matisse. He painted it in 1912, and it's an example of Fauvism, which is an offshoot of Impressionism. We've done a few of those, and involved bright colors, often from the tube, and usually simple subjects. Now, we're going to paint this even simpler than the actual painting today. This is going to be a super simple one. The only supplies you really need for this one are a pencil, an eraser, and some paper. But I'm going to watercolor it after we draw it, and then I'm going to line it with this pen. You can use any pen. It doesn't have to be a micron. It can be even a ballpoint. You just have to be sure and wait until your painting's completely dry. And let's get to it. The first thing we're going to do here is find our fishbowl. And I'm gonna say it is, let's see, it's about that wide. So we'll go in here, and it's close to the middle. And remember, we're gonna really simplify this one. So don't be scared of this one for sure. Okay, I'm gonna draw two lines straight down like this. Even them up and compare them to my reference. Pretty good. And then I'm going to draw for the top of this. Is that tall enough? I'm going to make it a little bit longer. For the top of this, I'm going to draw the bottom of the rim, and it's kind of just like a smile. So I'm just going to do that. And note that Matisse's painting here is not exact. He's using some weird perspective, and it all kind of seems like he was just painting this for fun. So think of doing it that way and really don't stress out about what's going on here. And then this one just comes up like that. The same thing at the bottom. This is kind of like a little smile. We're just going to come around here, right there. Okay, now up here some is where the bottom of the other side of that comes through, and we're going to do that up here, and this is just another little frowny thing like that. After that, we're going to put in our water. Now it comes up here, so we're going to do that. Just let it overlap a little bit, and then the same thing here. And there we go. So there is our water, and we're only going to do one goldfish today. If you want to add in the rest, go to. Have fun with that. But we're just going to do one. So I'm just going to start. We're going to put him all in this bottom part. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give him a little fin. And this is going to come down, and then we're going to go to where the tail is. In, out, right? And then on the bottom, I'm just going to draw a little smooth line curve that goes there. Then we have an eye and a little mouth. And there's our goldfish. On the top, there are the reflections of all the fish. The fish. This is my cat, Maurice. Well, scoot. So I'm going to draw the reflection up here of him. And this one's just kind of like a simpler version of that. It's going to start at this point, and then it's going to go out like that, and then in like that. And the same thing mirrored over here. Out, in, and you don't need to be precise with that. And there's the reflection for the fish, and that is pretty much our fish tank done. Next, there's this black, I assume it's a curtain or something behind it where it hits the wallpaper. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw that part in. And what it's going to do in this version of it is it's going to kind of drape down, and then it's going to hit the top of this. And then it's going to go along the top and then come back up and then down like that. So this is going to be the top wallpaper and stuff, and then at the bottom it will be the rest of it. So there are leaves coming out of here. We're only going to do 3. So I'm going to do 1 over here, and we're just going to make very, very basic leaf shapes. And that's going to be, let's see, like this, out a little bit, and they're big and they come to a point like that, and then come back in, and then follows a little stem like that. And then we'll put a little line in there that kind of follows the curve of the leaf. And number 2, do the same thing, it's just angled up a little bit more. 2, and then it comes out. And this one goes about like there. Let's point here, but that's okay. Ooh, I am going to make that stem wider though, because that leaf would not be standing on a stem that narrow. Now, be sure, make lighter marks than me, just because it makes it easier to erase. And I'm kind of doing them hard, so I know you can see them. Let me fix that. Okay, and then just draw that down there, and one more. Same thing. If they overlap, that's okay too. In, out, and this will go out there like that, and then this line goes like that, and there are my 3 leaves. Up here, I'm not gonna do all of the stuff up here. I'm just gonna continue the wallpaper over, and all we're gonna do for the wallpaper in this case is circles. So it's kind of like it's polka dot. I mean, it really is like it's a polka dot, but with a little stem coming out, and you can totally plant that. You can totally paint that, but I'm just gonna do the polka dots on this one. So I'm just gonna do some circles like that. They can be going off the page. Put a few of them in. They don't have to be the same size. They don't need to be perfect circles. I'm gonna just keep drawing little dots wherever I want them. They don't need to be in the same place as mine. There's my wallpaper. Next up, let's do the table part. It's kind of weird. It's really, this whole thing is weird perspective. I'm gonna say it comes from about here, and that lands lower about here. Okay, and I'm just gonna make a circle. It comes down pretty low, about like, we'll say here. So I'm just gonna do my best. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. Oh. Already off to a bad start. Draw this line light so you can erase it easy. Let's see, it needs to come out farther to about here. Make it rounder. That needs to come out farther. There we go, that's what we want. And this comes out and around like that. There we go, that's good. After that, we're going to make our little flower here, and all we're gonna do, this is kind of like the fishbowl, it's the same shape anyway. So we're gonna draw, let's see, I'll put it here. We'll do 2 lines like that. A little smile thing underneath, a little smile thing at the top, and then this, do this one lightly, or else just leave a little gap. Actually, we're gonna paint the inside of that black, so we don't need to worry about that either. So on this, all I'm gonna do is I have a stem out to where this little flower is gonna be, and to do the flower, I'm just going to do, let's see, little shapes like this, kind of like horseshoes almost. There we go. And there is the flower. Smalley, you may not steal my eraser. This is my cat Oliver. If you haven't met him yet, you probably have. After that, let's actually go and do the the table's legs that are completely out of proportion, but that's okay. So I'm gonna say comes down like this and like that, and see, it's not in the middle either. So, okay, and then I'm gonna do, without touching these, like a little bit away from them, I'm gonna do the frown like that, and do the smile like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the frame of this thing around that, just like that. And then at the bottom, they kind of angle down like this, then go back up. And there we go. And that is the table's legs. So up here we have some more leaves, and this one, we're going to do this big one right here, and it's going to be pretty much a heart. So I'm going to come down here like a heart. You might want to make it extra pointy. This comes down like that. And if you do the bottom a little bit like that, it kind of looks more like a leaf than a heart, but it just looks like a heart. And then we draw this line here, and then over here we have another one, and this kind of comes up like that, and then down, and then this comes around and down like that, and then we draw the curved part right there, and those are those two. So next I'm gonna do, this is a chair. You can't really tell that too well all the time, but that's a chair. So we're just going to draw this line. It comes from just below this line of black, and we're going to kind of contour it to the table and then down all the way, okay? So it comes down like that, gets close to the table, and then straight down like that. Then we're going to draw another line parallel to it. Straight. All right, next to it, just do your best. It does not need to be perfect. Okay, and then we have the support line. So let's see, I'm going to draw one here. I'm going to go this way because I want this to be a gap. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. But I'm going to draw one here, and then one here. I'm going to go all the way up to the top, trying to space them out pretty evenly. After a wee bit of trial and error, I'll say that's okay. If you would rather have it perfect and use a straight edge, you can totally do that. I wasn't too worried about it. I think it's just fine. So all we have left are these little lily pad things down here. So to make one of these, all I'm going to do is make a, well, in this case, it's going to be an upside down V like that. And then I'm going to kind of draw a circle, not a perfect circle, around the rest of it. So I'll do one here. Same thing. And then this one overlaps and comes about here. You can put in as many of these as you want. Now, let's see, I'll put one down here. There are flowers, and all I'm going to do for the flowers right now are put little kind of like squiggles to show the shape, so I leave that part white. So I'll put one there, and I'll put one there. That joins these two, and then I'll do one more lily pad, and it comes about like that. And if you want to draw another flower, I'll do one more squiggles. You can put them wherever you want. And there we go. So this is really it. If you're going to stop here, you might want to draw in little oval things on there, but I'm just going to paint those in. Oh, we forgot one thing. We forgot the leaf up here, so we're just going to draw a slightly curved line there, bring it down like that, and then draw a line in the middle. And I do believe that's all we've got for this drawing. So what I'm going to do now is paint it. Just remember that any lines you want to get rid of now, do it. Because once you watercolor over pencil, you cannot erase it anymore. So you might as well have done it in pen. So anything that you need to erase or fix, do it now. And let's get to painting. First, I'm going to paint the wallpaper. I have a pink here, but this is like seems like a reddy pink to me, and so I'm going to make it out of red. And I'm going to make a pretty big amount of it. The color I'm going to use is called Alizarin Crimson, and I'm going to make a mixture that the vast majority of it is water. Test it. Too dark still. More water. Looks good. And I'm going to paint my wallpaper. There's my wallpaper. As you can see, I didn't paint over the dots perfectly, and I'm not worried about them because they're a darker color, and you're not doing too much damage if you paint those pink. Let's see, next up, I think that is all of our pink bit down here, but I know if I paint that right now, I am going to get my hand all in it, so I'm just going to leave that there. The next thing we can paint is we can go ahead and do the goldfish. I don't have an orange, so I'm going to make one. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to get some red. I'm going to get this first red. Okay, and then I'm going to get some yellow. Mix them together until I get an orange I like. And then I'm going to test it. Always test your watercolors. Too red. Okay. I'll wipe that off in a minute. Let's see what this looks like. Better. Okay, so I'm going to paint my goldfish and his reflection orange. Okay, and that is it for orange. And now let's go ahead and do, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some blue and add, a wee bit of yellow into it. Let's see what that looks like. See what this looks like. Good. Okay, I'm going to paint this and try not to get my hand in the goldfish. Okay, there's that. If you might have noticed that I got some orange into my paints. I had to mix it back up, and what I ended up mixing was a slightly different color. That was a little bit more blue, and I liked it more, so I just kind of painted over the whole thing. Please don't step on that, Smalley. And if you see, you might be able to see that what this paint's doing is called granulation. And it's not bad. Some artists really like it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but some paints just do that. And it'll vary from brand to brand and color to color and all of that. But that's this blue that I'm using is a super granulated brand paint. Anyway, so let's see. Next up, I'm gonna paint this part blue, but what I want to do first, or that blue that we just had. What I want to do first is I want to vary the bottom, and if you look at it in the original painting, there are like yellow streaks in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make yellow streaks in this, and then we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to kind of paint around them. So I'm just going to do, this is just kind of showing sediment, I guess. Just some lines down here. They don't need to be even. They don't need to be uniform. Just put some down here, and this will just make it more interesting. Okay, since this is dry, we can go ahead and paint this section, this yellow. And And the last yellow thing is this little cup where this flower's in. And then I think, yeah, I'm not going to go for the dots up here, but I'm going to go ahead and start painting leaves green. So let's see, I'll use this green. There are the leaves. Yeah, this is probably okay at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and put in these dots. Also going to go ahead and do this leaf, but I see a little spot I need to erase right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do those and this space right here and the lily pads. So I'm going to finish out my green. And that's it for green. So I'm going to dry this completely and then I'll be right back. I've dried my painting. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and do this table. And the top, now Matisse painted this in oil. It looked like oil with a lot of mineral spirits or turpentine in it. And since we're doing this with watercolor, I want to do it a little bit differently, and to simplify things, I'm going to paint this table the same color as these legs and this pretty much. So we're just kind of making a matching set. If you want it to look more like the actual painting, paint it pink, this pink, and let it dry completely, and then kind of go back in a scribbly way with some black, but like really watered down black, so it's like a light gray. And that's how you can do that, but today I'm just going to do this blue. I'm going to do it lighter blue than the chair though. There is our light blue table. So all we really have left now is we need to paint this, and that's going to be about that color, but we have to wait for the table to dry. And we need to do the little pink bits there, and then we have this little purple bit, and then a bunch of black down here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this pink, and I'm just going to use the same pink, maybe with a tiny bit more paint in it. And for these, I'm just going to do little kind of dots. They don't need to be the same size. And there are dots. So what I'm going to do now is let this, let's see, actually I'm going to go ahead and put some light gray up here. We're not going to worry about all the leaves and stuff behind that. We're just going to do, or the variations in colors because of reflection or whatever. We're going to do this light, way lighter than that. So all I'm going to do is get some, this is Payne's gray. Black is great. And water it down a good bit. And then see what color that's going to be. Any more paint. That'll do. And then I'm going to paint this part here. Ah! And then I get my hand in that immediately. Now I'm going to be more careful. Okay, so now I'm going to let the whole thing dry again just to be safe. And then we will come back and get the rest of it. Okay, everything is dry except a little bit of that, and I'm just going to have to be careful. Next we can go ahead and do this little bit of purple. I don't have a purple, so I'm going to make kind of a lavender. I got some blue and some, oh, let's see, I'm going to get a little bit of pink with that. You can use red. Oops. Yeah, make it really watered down because that needs to be a light color. That is too watered down. That looks okay. Remember, watercolor dries lighter than it looks at first. Okay, there's our little flower. And Now I'm going to do this. This is kind of the color of that. I guess we should have done that at the same time, but we didn't. This, I can pretty much hopefully mix this back up. I'm putting more blue in it to make it hit off, to make it contrast more with this green because it's a bluey green. That looks okay. So now I'm just going to paint this part and go around the yellow. Now all we really have left is I want to put a little bit black here. Actually, we can do that with a pen later. You can do that now, though, if you want. I'm going to get black. I'm using Payne's Gray full strength right here too. But I'm going to start over here and go ahead and do this. It's darker over on this side than it is on that side, so kind of take that into account. I mean, the way to lighten it up is just add more water. So you might want to do it stronger on this side and then weaker on that side. Let's get going. This is going to take a minute. Okay, that is that. I did 2 coats of the black / Payne's Gray because I wasn't happy with the first one. Once this dries, I think that'll look better. That's about it. If you're not going to go back and line it, go ahead, and I'll do it right now if I can be careful enough. Give your goldfish an eye and a mouth with a pen, or else you can do that with paint. I'm also going to line this stem when I go back. You can paint that if you want to, but I'm going to let this dry completely 100%, and then I'm going to line it with a pen. Now my painting is dry, and I'm just going to line it with this, which just means I'm going to go over all of the pencil marks with this pen. And here's our painting lined. One thing I forgot to do was sign it, so I'm just going to sign it in this pen. They say artists should sign a painting in the medium they use to paint it, and that's just so it can be verified later that that was in fact that artist, but I don't think that matters here, so I'm just going to sign mine in the pen that I used to line it. Okay. Now I'm going to peel off this tape, which I think automatically makes any painting look better with this nice clean edge. And if you're peeling off tape, be sure and peel it off slowly and carefully so you don't rip your paper, because after putting all this effort into it, you would be really mad with some ripped paper, or at least I would be. I'm going to carefully pull this off. Oh, this looks so nice. Good time to check and make sure you got all of those lines. I think I did. Okay. And here is my completed painting, this version of Matisse's Goldfish. If you want to do the more complex full shebang, let me know in the comments and I will be glad to do it for y'all. If you paint it along with me, please take a picture and send it to the library's social media. There should be links in the description. And I hope you had a good time. I certainly had a good time. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week for more Art Club. Bye.